I hate the name and I hope it doesn't stick.
It's already stuck.
GEO. It's terrible.
Welcome to the Friday Flow with Jordan and let's go. Fact news and all the trends. Tune in now with your friends.
Happy Pretend Friday, Will.
What's up? Happy Friday Flow.
Happy Friday Flow. It's Wednesday, publishing on Thursday, working on our ratings. Apparently this is gonna boost us up, so we're going for it.
But the trouble is we only get half a week of information, and Monday was a holiday. So what are we even going to talk about today, Jordan?
Well, a few things, but first and foremost, we're going to bring back product hunt demos. So when we first started Friday Flow, like 2 years ago, I used to do a demo. So I'm going to just start off with a demo, something that I find I read product hunt way too much. So this is something I found this week. It's not crazy awesome, but it's kind of it's one of those things that
awesome.
It's reasonable awesome. If you're a power user of literally anything on your laptop, you probably copy and paste a bunch. There's a lot of solutions, but I found one I think is really good, so I'm going to share it. It's called Paste App.
Let's see it.
Paste App 5, not 4, but this is 5.
Wow.
So when I say new, I mean
5.0.
new version. And as you can see, we are live on Product Hunt, right? Meow. So I'm going to just give I mean, it is as basic as you can get. If I was trying to just paste something in, so I've already copied something, and I'm just trying to paste something into like the URL bar, I have a little command, and boom, this pops up with all my recent copies.
Interesting. We can't see anything popping up.
Ooh. Okay. Allegedly, we can't actually show the widget that pops up. But you can imagine about right here, a nice thing is popping up on my monitor.
It's almost like the little picture that you're actually showing.
True. There you go. Like. This is it. Anyway, it's a great little app. I recommend it. I think you do have to pay for it, but you try it for free. Again, if you're a power user of anything on your laptop, copy and pasting is, it's something you do all the time. It's a nice little helper. Do you have any of these things? Do you use like Raycast or something?
Well, first off, will you be paying for it after your trial ends?
Probably. I probably will. I probably will.
The one I use, it doesn't look as cool or as sophisticated as this. It's called Flycut, and it's the same thing. And I've had it for years, and I pay for it every time I get a new laptop because I guess now it actually transfers, but previously it never used to transfer, like App Store wise. So I would like repurchase it at every company because it was just like a couple bucks and would just be amazing. And I'd actually like give it to people like new joiners as like one of these like efficiency hacks because it has a clipboard of like your last 10 saved things or whatever. You could paste it with like remove formatting straight away. Just like real
nice.
some killer features that are super important when you're like writing a bunch of emails and doing a bunch of crazy stuff. So
copy and pasting on steroids.
Why is copy paste Command C Command V still like the same thing from 20 years ago? Why isn't Apple doing this or whoever else?
What do you mean? Like why don't they have their own?
To buy software. Yeah, why
That's
can
true.
they only do one copy?
You know what's funny? They probably do have it. Like there's all these weird like Mac automations that are actually built into the machine. Sometimes I'll ask ChatGPT to like, hey, how do I like easily compress a file? And it's like, oh, you can just do this one thing. I don't have to actually go like use like a SAS for it. Anyway, we're going down a weird rabbit hole here. I'm just going to switch topics immediately to GEO, not SEO, GEO. What is GEO? Well, maybe let's first say what is
GEO?
SEO. What is SEO? Search engine optimization. What is search? So 2000s, right? It's all about AI now. And so GEO is generative engine optimization. And so what this means is SEO was allowed you to optimize for Google and Bing to be able to crawl your site and be able to rank higher in search engines, whereas GEO is the ability to like optimize your site to not rank better, but to be more visible and appear better in chatbots, in like ChatGPT. So it's a whole new frontier. Will kind of brought this up to my attention this week, and so we thought we'd give it a little chat.
Yeah, I hate the name, and I hope it doesn't stick.
It's already stuck.
GEO. It's terrible. I was thinking, why not like Leo, like LM?
Ooh.
engine optimization. I don't even like the engine part of it. It's just the whole thing's awful. They need to rebrand it if they have any chance of a future. There's a cool article. There's been a few out there, but Andreessen Horowitz dropped a thought piece on this. You know, when the VCs are dropping thought pieces, it's going to be a super important next generation move in where we're headed. But I think it already is, right? We spoke about this a couple of weeks ago with most websites seeing a surge in traffic being generated from ChatGPT and other models. The old heyday of SEO was really about like, how do you game Google to get your rank higher for different keywords. This is kind of arguing that the new frontier of this is actually like model relevance. Like, how do you get included in the data sets, one, and then how, when they use their search functionality, can you actually get your products promoted or your services promoted? And then there's a bunch of startups, obviously, around the space trying to help you with that. So there was some old school versions of this with like SEMrush and Hrefs and SimilarWeb. There's now like the new frontier of this, which is the agentic version, trying to help companies, startups, products get their products and offerings in the relevant places. What do you think? Do you like the name? Will it
Well,
stick?
the name's horrible.
Is this the future?
The name is so bad. I just like, even as I'm saying it, GEO, like I have to like enunciate it so like awkwardly, but it just doesn't sound good. I will say, when I don't remember what the SaaS company was, but I was searching for something, and it was when ChatGPT first came out. Obviously, I was like a very beta user of it, and I was on a call with like a AE, an account executive at this company that I found through ChatGPT, and they asked me how I found them. And I said, ChatGPT actually recommended you. And they laughed. They're like, wow, I've never heard that before. And now I'm like, that's got to be like one of the higher ranking reasons why people are going to some of these services. You know, when you get asked like, how did you hear about us? I still haven't seen one say ChatGPT. Have you?
No, that's a great question, though. I haven't yet filled one of those out. I think I rarely fill out those surveys, but it's a good point. I'm going to look out for it now as well.
I'm a kind person. I always fill them out. I want them to know.
But yeah, I think it's, you know, it's, look, we talk about this a lot. The future is moving into the agentic way. Google's aware that search is disrupting or getting disrupted by models. They're trying to do it themselves. We just saw that news out of Google I/O that we spoke about last week. Apple are saying that they're considering allowing OpenAI, Perplexity, and other functions in their search bar on iPhones in future releases. So you can easily see this being obviously the next frontier and a huge place for where you need to spend and invest time. The early version of this, what I was told, was that the early deal inked with OpenAI was with Bing through the Microsoft deal. And so people were really trying to juice their SEO on Bing.com because long thought irrelevant, it was now coming back with the prominence of OpenAI. So Bing's back in flavor. We don't know what the next version of this looks like, but you got to rank high on Bing if you want a seat at the table in 2025.
Well, I'm going to keep it in this same idea here. This story resonated with me once you started talking about GEO, and that's Arc. So do you know the browser Arc? So as these as websites are trying to become more optimized for generative AI, they're also trying to just upgrade to how do people use websites in general. And so Arc is owned by the company, I think it's literally called Browser Company. That's like the name of the company. And so they made Arc. They're actually now trying to get rid of Arc because Dia, I don't know how you pronounce it, is the new product, and it is a AI first browser. And so thinking about how you optimize for GEO, do you also have to start optimizing for how browsers are actually able to like use your service? Because browsers are becoming a little bit more interactive, right? Like in Chrome, you know about like Chrome extensions can like interact with your web page, but are these browsers just going to become a little bit more native with AI? And are you going to have to bring your website up to that standard? So that kind of resonated with me a little bit. I have two kind of interesting articles. And again, this is how fast the ecosystem moves. It's just insane. So this is from December 2024. The browser company teases Dia. And I don't know if you guys know much about Arc, which is like the main product for the browser company, but I know a lot of new people are using it. And now they're just like, Arc is done. Let's switch over to May 27th, just this week. The browser company is trying to sell Arc and pivoting to entirely go with their new AI focused browser. So, I mean, things are just moving in the speed of sound. Yeah.
It's a bold bet. Perplexity as well are announcing a browser that they're going to be dropping. So yeah, I think you're right. This is the new way. You got to think like how do LLMs want to interact as well with your website? Websites are not going to be kind of as we know them in the future. It's not just for humans. You probably have a lot more agents going to your website. We talk a bit about MCP here. We talk a lot about agentic commerce and what's actually needed in this world. And so, yeah, I think the V1, which we've kind of seen a little bit of, is like the browser needs to be optimized for agents to use it as well. But then are we just going to replace that eventually with MCP and APIs direct to websites? Who gets
It's possible.
paid? Where's the ad money go? Let's move on. What else is on the docket, Jordan?
Okay. We have Copilot, another Copilot from Microsoft. I guess every single thing that they do in AI, they're just calling Copilot, regardless of the industry. But they have, I don't know if it just launched or they're just starting to talk about it more, but they're doing a merchant program. So very relevant to Woflow. And it allows merchants to sign up and allegedly make their contacts and their SKUs and the data behind their SKUs a lot more accessible via, ChatGPT or just through any chatbot in general.
Yeah, I think this is interesting. So we saw this as like a recent initiative that they launched for brands and retailers to share product information directly with Microsoft. And then the thought there is in exchange for that, Microsoft is saying, hey, we'll more likely show your products in our search results within Copilot. And so Copilot is everywhere in the Microsoft ecosystem. If you use Teams or you use Excel or Word, chances are you're interacting with Copilot quite often. We don't really use any of those products here at Woflow, so we rarely see Copilot or need for Copilot. But
I called it ChatGPT.
But for the large majority that are using the Microsoft suite, that seems like quite an alluring proposition when you are a brand or a retailer with products to share. And so we'll see. It's early days. It's obviously an interesting foray into this space. It obviously means there's more complexity around sharing of this product data that merchants and brands need to be aware of. There's a lot of movement that we're seeing in agentic shopping. This is just one part of that. I thought it was very interesting. Yeah, a lot of movements happening with...
I couldn't find any information on this, really. I tried to find some YouTube tutorials on like how to use it and stuff, and there's really not much out there. I don't know if you saw much of it, but does any of this actually... Are you allowed to use any of this outside of the Microsoft suite? Like, does this help you just create more data that you can then use for other?
So I don't think you're generating any new data. I think you're just sharing your existing data with a direct feed to Microsoft. And I haven't clicked through it to see what it is, but we are seeing similar things with like OpenAI are also got a request out for people to do it with them. I think Shopify earlier announced that they're launching a way for merchants to share product listing info with AI via the Shopify platform. So it's moving fast. No one really knows quite how it's going to pan out or who's going to be the main source of truth. There's going to be a lot of changes and shakeups, I think, before we get to something that feels normal. But it's a very exciting time, I'd say, for agentic commerce in general. And I think we're seeing this coupled with a lot of the hires that we keep hearing being announced. There's some poaching happening across teams within like PayPal and Visa, and obviously Instacart lost their CEO to OpenAI earlier this month. So it's a very fast moving playground right now for shopping. It's super exciting.
I agree. Who knows where it's going to go, but if it's going to stay in Microsoft, I won't use it, so it's fine. Lastly, Bill's brought this website to my attention and we had to demo it. We had to talk about it. I don't understand it at all. I just really don't. It's called YouWare. Do you want to demo it?
I'll rock and roll. I'll share my screen.
It looks kind of dumb.
So YouWare, not YouTube, it's YouWare. I love their tagline. It's amazing.
It really speaks to me, and I have no idea what it is.
Where I found this was on the information. So I was regularly checking the news, and this was kind of touted as like China's attempt at building a cursor type competitor, but not aimed at the professional end of the spectrum, but at the more vibe codey end of the spectrum, where you have, I guess, similar products here in the US for like Lovable, for instance, where you can you vibe code without really needing to know the nuts and bolts. So super interesting. The team behind it, they only launched about 6 months ago. The team behind it were all former TikTok people, and they built some really interesting tools at TikTok, like the tool that enables you to edit and cut and paste together your videos. So they've got a really interesting background in that consumer lens. And so what I thought was cool with this is, yes, you can just go and type in something and you can build it. So we can build sfburgers.com here right inside the chat. It's not going to be any different to some of the things that you've seen before. But what they also then have is kind of projects. And so it's more the community element around it. There's some interesting stuff in here that I don't really understand. Anyway, if I was to share this, we could play a poop launching game.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, I need to reshare my screen.
Let's
so we got
go.
Wombat launch. Let's start this.
Poop Wombat, let's go.
Someone's vibe coded this. We're going negative. We're going negative.
I'm a little confused how you win. Or do you always win?
Maybe, yes. I mean, someone's vibe coded it, so maybe there's a way of.
Ooh, you earn coins. Good work.
But I think what's interesting here is you can interact with it. Great, I love it. But also, I think what's importantly is here you can remix the project. So I think this is the thing that's super interesting here is and where the social side of this is coming from, and the folks behind it being from TikTok, is that they are building this community and then an ability for you to put out projects out there and get them remixed. So it's like a fork of a project.
I like
you
that.
Can rock and roll with it. And I'm very interested. I'll be playing more with this and reporting back.
I like that. So a non-professional V0 or Lovable, I prefer V0 100%. I think it's far superior. I was looking through like the projects that I saw in there, and there was like point of sale. Like I'm like, there's no way you just like spin up a point of sale and use it. But I like the idea. I think it's more for the poop wombats. Like that makes a lot more sense to me. And on that note, happy Poop Wombat Wednesday, Will. And I'll see you next week.
Happy Friday Flow.
Happy Friday Flow. Adios.